Welcome back to the shop. So today we are going to play around with an Ingersoll Rand Redi-Ratchet. Now these are cordless tools, believe it or not. It's all aluminum. There's your charging port, and I already have the screws loose on it, but one of the neat features of this is it's kind of like your air tools where you can spin the head. Get it loose there. You can spin the head and index it differently depending on what you want. So that's kind of neat. It basically is the air tool head on it, I believe. We got some of the fasteners coming out already. So the way these work, get the cover off. They have a motor, drives the ratchet mechanism, battery, which most of the batteries are shot on these nowadays, and switch. Then you change your direction up here like a lot of pneumatic ratchets. So what I got was looking around at different stuff, and there's, in the airsoft market, there are NiMi batteries, 9.6 volt, 1600 milliamp hours, 1.6 amp hours. Sorry, little technical issue there. So I'm thinking we can wire this in here somehow, some way. This is a charging adapter cable that came with the kit, and then this is the charger. So this is all supposed to be smart stuff. That this is the charger, and that would hook into the battery here, or if you ran this through something, which I think we are going to do, it hooks up here, and this connector I think we're going to cut off, and I think we're going to cut this connector off. When we cut this connector off, we're not going to cut both wires at the same time because battery. So let's take a few things apart a while and see what's going on. I can see here already wire nut. This appears to be battery potential, and the brown and the black here are the negative. But on this side, the blue actually runs through the switch somehow. So I think I'm going to emulate that. We have the red going to this part of the switch. See if you can see that. The red going to that pole of the switch. And I think what this is doing, we can meter it and see, but I think what this is doing is they will not let you charge with the tool being run. That's what I see. Let's get the old continuity meter out here. I'm going to assume continuity there. Let's see here. And if we push this button down, it opens. That's kind of what I was thinking. So that's saying that they don't want you to charge unless the tool is not being used. So it's not a place where they want you to just continuously run the tool on the charger. So that's what's going on here. I think we're going to continue with that just because I don't think, we'll see. We'll just wire it this way and see how running it works out. So let me get some of this apart and we'll go from there. So we got the old battery connector disconnected. That was just desolder these two wires, and well, one of them I cut, and I filled the holes here with solder so it's sealed. And I think, I'm looking at this a little bit, I think what we should be able to do is, if you look at this, the centers are close, and being off a little bit, I think we can cut this, make a notch, so that this piece, we can attach it to here and take advantage of this cutout in the tool. So we're going to give that a go. I'm going to try and cut this. Hopefully I don't break it. It's kind of like a printed circuit board type material, so I think it'll be okay. Okay, so we got this thing. Basically what I did was I cut into here with a saw, and I pulled the pins out. There's one of the pins. And you can still see the radius here from the pin. Then I laid out, well, I just kind of set this in there and marked where these notches are, or these two pieces that are standing proud. And I cut grooves in the saw. So what that allows to happen here is this, and it's a snug fit, which is what we want. This will sit in here and slide back until it hits this piece right here, giving it something firm to sit on. So you can see that's a nice fit there. And I think what we'll do is I think we'll try super glue. I think it'll work. Really, we just want to hold it square like that. Now, the charging cable, you can see, sits flush. So even if this is against the housing of the tool, which it should have a little bit of a gap, this will still plug in, and it has its hook here when it goes in, that we still have enough parts to it that it'll still work. There we go, we got it. So you can see the hook still engages, won't pull apart. So I think that's what we're going to go with. We're going to glue this up, and then it's going to take a while for the glue to set. And then we'll continue on with trying to do our conversion here. So we got some glue on this thing. My glue was getting a little dried out, but we'll give this a chance to set up a bit and see what happens. But I do think, we got it reasonably square here. I think we got something that's going to work. Okay, well, before we get too crazy here and we have this thing and a battery, I did not charge this battery, so I kind of expected it might die. But let's just see if this thing's got a good motor or not. We should be able to push this wire right up inside here in the positive side, and right up here in the negative side, being careful not to make them touch, just like that, and touch the button here. So it seems like we got a good tool here. Ran both directions. Get that out of there. So I think we got a good one. It's worth continuing onward with. We're going to hook this up and get it charging. And see how it goes from there. Now, one side note, these original batteries, I'm not sure how many cells are in these, but it doesn't seem like it's 8. It's possible this thing originally ran on 7.2 volts. If that's the case, then it would be pretty sluggish stock, which would mean I never used one of these, so we'll see how it runs. But this might be a pretty good upgrade, even though the new battery pack is smaller. The chemistry of the cells has changed quite a lot since then, and I'm thinking going with this chemistry. It should work out pretty well because it has a smart charger. Really, all you do is plug it in and walk away. You don't have to worry about anything. If we went with lithium, to try and pack lithium cells in here would be a little difficult, and also your battery management gets a little bit more complicated. So, and the fact that this is sourced from airsoft stuff, it's a little bit more readily available. I don't know how long these are going to last, but I'm going to try and install this in a way that makes it relatively easy to replace. So here we are, battery hooked up again. I actually had second thoughts. I thought to myself, well, maybe I don't want to have the battery fully charged while I'm playing around with it. So it's probably good that it's discharged or near discharged. That being said, we had it sitting on the charger for a little bit. Let's see how the tool runs now. Runs really well. So I think what we're going to do is let this battery in the state that it's at, and then we'll charge it once we're done with the tool. But this is super encouraging to see that the tool's running very well. In fact, if we look at the brushes, there's not a ring of fire going around it or anything like that. The commutator does show some signs of wear, so I think it's had some time on it, but it's not too bad. So let's get this disconnected. Let's see if we can get a shot here. It's kind of hard to see in there. But the commutator does have some wear on it, but it's not too bad. And we're back. So through the magic of time, we have our glue set has dried. It's nice and firm. So what I'm thinking here is we're going to install this like this. And that should sit, and the wire should run straight up through here. We'll determine that blue and that brown. And I think I'm going to put crimp connectors on the black and the red. Just because it gives us a place, if we got to replace the battery again, we can cut off the crimp terminal and restrip the wire. We've got quite a few go-arounds here with this length of wire. I don't want to throw too much heat at the switch, and if you want to change a battery, it's not necessarily the best to break out a soldering iron every time. You run the risk of damaging things. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. This should fit in here nicely, and this will be kind of a once and done type thing, unless we change types of batteries again, which it seems like this is going to work well. So and this is going to be readily available for quite some time, I'm assuming. So if these batteries do go bad, I mean, we're talking probably a few years here. So we'll see. We'll see what we get out of it go around here, and we'll get moving along on this a little bit and start getting some of these connections done. We'll be back. So here we go. We got her all together. I might have gone a little too heavy on the double stick tape right here. It seems like it wants to not be straight, but we'll see what happens once we get the top cover on. I kind of wanted to have it that it had a little bit of a buffer here to push up against. We'll see how that works. That's just kind of a guess. There is double stick tape on the bottom of this battery. Not a lot, mind you, but enough to hold it into place. If it starts flopping around, we'll have to revisit that and maybe put some more on. I went with butt splices. I went with uninsulated. There's one right there. There's one right here and one right here. They're both in heat shrink. The wiring did work out next to the battery quite nicely. Then we went with the closed end cap crimps for the battery connections, and the negative one is right here. We just got it crammed down in there, coiled up like that, so it's out of the way. The insulating sheet's still there, so everything's in place, and indeed the ratchet does run. So we're going to get this all back together, see how everything sits, and maybe make some adjustments. And if everything's good, we're going to charge it up, see what we get. And we're back pretty quick here. Everything screwed together wonderfully. Nothing shakes around and rattles. We can also see that this connector sits perfect. So we're going to get this thing charging. It does run. Push the button, she runs. One direction, the other direction. So we're gonna get this thing charged up, and then we'll see how it stacks up against some of the more modern tools. Okay, so we've gone outside just because it's the first time we're charging this thing, and you know, I always like to be a little precautious. So here we go. We're gonna plug in our charging connection there. Plugs in nicely, and then the rest of this charger is a smart charger, so it should know that it has this connected. And let's see, we can see that there. Yep, she's charging red, so we can let this thing charge a while. See what we get. Okay, and just like that, through the magic of time, we're green, which means we're good to go, fully charged. Take our charger out, and runs like a champ. Now, truth be told, this is the second one of these that I have. We had already done one, and you can see here some numbers. And we did some testing already with this, so we kind of have an idea what's going on. Little bit of a spoiler there. First go around with this, I flinched because I almost whacked the camera with the thing. So hang around to the end of the testing to see how much jam she's got and what all she's up against. On to the next segment. Okay, so we got both of these done. I even buffed this up. I got the buffing gloves on. They buff up pretty nicely. This one that we just rebuilt is going to go to a friend of mine who's also a viewer. So here's your ratchet. And this other one that we first did, this one is going to be seen in the next segment in our testing. And yes, we buffed this one up as well. And there may be another one or so in the future. We'll see. These are kind of fascinating tools. Try and see how they hold up to today's other tools on the market. The testing segment, which I did film earlier, we're going to go into next. But remember to reach for Redi-Ratchet. I'm going to get this thing off, and we'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Totally unscientific Redi-Ratchet. Run in, and what we'll do is we'll run it tight. Let it just run till it stops with the flange bolt here, and then we'll take the torque wrench and take it off, and we'll compare to the Milwaukee. Alright, she stalled. Okay, we should be on foot-pounds, and it should record the highest number. Here we go. So, on the Redi-Ratchet, we had 28.1 foot-pounds. Let's see what we get out of the Milwaukee. Okay, here we go. Gen 1 Milwaukee ratchet, M12. Let's compare it to the Redi-Ratchet. These all have 2.0 amp hour batteries on them because the Redi-Ratchet is running 1.6. Here we go. Alright, that's stalled. Okay, here we go. $19.9. Oop, there we go. 19.9. We will be going chronologically here with our Milwaukee. This is the next one they released, the 2557. I am using the same socket for every go around here. Here we go. Alright, here we go. 30.8, not significantly higher than the Redi-Ratchet. Next up in our chronological order, we have the extended reach ratchet, the 2560. Let's see what this one gets. Right in line with the other ratchet, 30.4. The other was 30.8. And last we have the high-speed ratchet that they recently came out with. Now, it's entirely possible this might be the highest just because it has more inertia going in. So let's see what we get. Going for it right now. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we get. Okay, so I was wrong. That's actually the lowest. Nah, it's right in line with the original ratchet, 20.0. For the fun of it, we're going to use the Redi-Ratchet again because it's really cool. And here we go, Redi-Ratchet again for science. There we go, we stalled her out. And Redi-Ratchet, on the second go-around, very similar to the first go-around there, 32.4. I think we had 30 on the first one. We'll have to go back and look. So I know this isn't 100% consistent. We could try these, you know, for a while, but it's just something fairly similar to do with all of them, and see what you get for results. So nothing super scientific playing around here in the shop, but pretty interesting all the same. So actually the Redi-Ratchet's a pretty good contender in today's market yet. Very interesting.